All right, for the first one, you have a 7 and you have a 28. What can you divide out of both of those? 7. So put 7, draw a parenthesis, close the Chromebook. You're going to divide them both by 7, and then what's left? X minus 4. Now, sometimes you take out a greatest common factor, so we're 1 out of 10 of the way there. Nice job. And sometimes there's another step that you can do. In this case, there's nothing you can do with X minus 4. That's just as simple as it gets. All right, here, you have 12, 16, and 20. You're looking for a number that could go into all of them. Now, good. If you couldn't think of it, though, do you remember this? GCF and then all the numbers? See how it says 4? Okay, so if you forgot how to do that, or you just couldn't come up with it, or you wanted to check, just type it in the calculator. Now, what else can you take? An X, good. So 4X, put your parentheses, and you're going to divide each of these by 4X. And we're just going to see what's left. So what's left in the first one? 12 divided by 4. 3? Good. Minus 16 divided by 4 is 4. X squared. Plus 5. Now, again, sometimes you can do another step with this. This is kind of just a jumbled mess, so there's nothing else that you can do there. We're just done. What did you think for this one? Did you count how many terms there are? 4. What does that mean we do? Group. Parentheses around the first 2, parentheses around the second 2. Well remembered. All right, now you just do it half at a time. What can you take out of the first 2? 5X. Perfect. When you divide out 5X, you're going to be left with X plus 6. Oh my gosh, that means there's going to be an X plus 6.
So,
No, in the other half of the problem, okay? Now, what can you take out of both of these? 2. Now, specifically a positive 2. And if it was a negative 2, you would put a negative there. And if you divide both of those by 2, you do end up with X plus 6. Now, you're not done, though. There's one more step. You're going to write the X plus 6. And then what goes in the other parenthesis? 5X plus 2, like the other stuff. Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to repeat what I just said since I forgot to hit record again. So what we notice is these are both perfect squares. So what is your square root of 64? 8. So you're going to have 8x, 8x. And then what's your square root of 81? 9. And it's going to be 1 plus and 1 minus because the middle term is 0. So if you add 1 and subtract the other one, you end up with 0 in the middle. But you just want to be on the lookout for perfect squares. That's like the easiest kind of factoring. You just have to notice what are some other perfect squares, just for the sake of mentioning them. 25, 16, 9. Oh, what's 4? 1. Okay. All right, so look at this one. Do you notice it's an X squared and then an X and then a number? Okay, draw your X for your X box. 10 goes on the top, 7 goes on the bottom. This one's kind of nice because everything's positive. That's always nice when everything's positive. I need numbers that multiply to be 10, that add to be 7. It would be 5 and 2. Good job. So these are the numbers you're going to use. Draw your 2 parentheses. That's cool that you're like happy you're getting the answers right, but I want you to also get them right on your quiz. So let's focus. This will be X plus 5 and X plus 2.
Yeah.
All right, look at number 6. What do you notice about 2 and 50? 2 goes into both of them. So put a 2, start a parenthesis. You're going to divide them both by 2. So when you divide those both by 2, you're going to be left with X squared minus 25. And what you need to notice is 25 is a perfect square. So this worked well when I was teaching it. I'm going to cover up the 2. And we're going to draw our 2 sets of parentheses to split this. So what is your square root of 25? 5. So what is going to go in these parentheses? Well, just X plus 5 and X minus 5. And then the 2 is out front. All right, this one. Do you notice there's an x squared and then an x and then just a number? All right, that means you're going to do the x box. My pen is running out. Let me grab another one. Are you focusing with me here? Okay. So what number goes on the top? -40. Good. What number goes on the bottom? -3. Don't worry about the negatives. We'll figure those out at the end. Oops, and this is up because I had to go back and do my attendance. Hold on a second. Let me get back to the right screen. Here we go. So what I'm going to type in, what was it? 40? 40 divide by x. I'm going to make the table, and you're looking for a pair that adds or subtracts to be 3. So do you see it somewhere on there? I went a little further than we needed to. 5 and 8. Do you see that? Right there, 5 and 8. All right, so put 5 and 8 and then worry about the negatives. Just do it totally separately. The 8 gets the negative. Good. So these are your numbers. In your parentheses, you'll have x plus 5 and x minus 8. Now this next one's a little tougher because do you see how with these two, it was just an x squared? This one has that extra number out front. It was a little bit more of a process. It's going to start the same way though. You're going to draw your x, but 10 is not the number that goes on top anymore.
40.
Oh, why is it 40? Because that's right. 4 times 10. Good. And then 13 goes on the bottom. So I actually already have 40 in here. Do you see a pair that'll add or subtract to be 13? Eight and 5. Good job. So 8 and 5. Everything's positive. So these are your numbers. You just have an extra step before you can get to the parentheses. You're going to take both of those and put them over which number? Do you remember? 4. Good. The 4 that's out front. So 8 over 4, 5 over 4. Your calculator will reduce them for you. If you type in 8 over 4, 5 over 4, it'll do it for you. But, you know, for the sake of me throwing the question out there, how would 8 over 4 reduce? Good. 2 over 1. And you have to leave the 1 in there because it has to be a fraction. How about 5 over 4? Yeah, 5 over 4. It just doesn't. Here's the one kind of tricky thing I think about this. Like up till there, it's not so bad. You have to start with the denominator, which is weird because we don't read downwards to upwards. So I do get that. So looking at this one, it would be 1x or just x plus 2. And then what would be the other one? Yeah, 4x plus 5. So just remember to start with the denominator. All right, we're almost there. Do you notice how this one's a trinomial? I think we would be able to take out, that should be put away. I think we should be able to take something out of each of these. What would be a greatest common factor for 36, 15, and 6? If you're not sure, I can type it in. Oh, good, it's 3. Okay. But if you're not sure, do GCF in the calculator. Put a 3, draw your parentheses. We're going to divide everything by 3. You can fit it if you write really small there. So you're dividing everything by 3. That'll leave you with 12x squared minus 5x minus 2. Thank you. No one ever tells me good job. I'm just expected to get them all right. I get, but yes, thank you. Thanks, you know. All right, I'm going to cover up the 3, and we're going to do exactly like we did in the last problem. So -2 is not what goes on the top. You can do that if it's just an x squared, but this one's a little bit more complicated. Good, -24. See what else? You guys are on top of it when you're here in class with me. As far as being in class, you guys are amazing. You just need to do that like outside of class too. And then on the bottom is going to be -5. Don't worry about the negatives. You just need some numbers that multiply to be 24, which yes, that would be 3 and 8. Then worry about the negatives. You can always do that separately. Which one? Negative goes on the 8. Good job.
Good job, Shannon. Thank you, Sawyer. You're welcome, sir.
So you're going to take these two numbers and put them over 12. You can scribble out the original problem if you're worried that's gonna like bother you, but you're gonna put them over 12. So we have 3 over 12, negative 8 over 12. Let me just share my screen and show you how the calculator will do this, because if you aren't sure, like, I want you to use the heck out of your calculator. All right, like, I want you to get the right answers. Use your calculator. So what is it? 3 over 12, turn it back into a fraction. 1/4, and then good. And then the other one was negative 8 over 12, turn it back into a fraction, negative 2/3. Like, the calculator will do it for you. So this one was 1/4, this one was negative 2/3. And then again, it's a little tricky. You just have to start with the denominator. It'll be 4x plus 1, good, 3x minus 2. And what else? The 3 that's out front. Good job. Oh, and then the last one is perfect squares. Do you notice how 100 is a perfect square and 9 is a perfect square? The biggest thing with factoring is you have to be a good noticer, because they're all jumbled together and you have to, is this one grouping? Is there a greatest common factor? Are they perfect squares? You know, that's what makes it hard. So draw your 2 parentheses. What's your square root of 100? 10. And then square root of 9 is 3. And the x goes with that one. So it'll be 10 plus 3x and 10 minus 3x. And again, the reason you have a plus and a minus is because your middle term is 0. They cancel out.